Hello students, welcome back to Max Made Easy. We are meeting after a long time and today we are starting with the 8th ICSE, chapter 24, volume and surface area. I will make sure that from today onwards we'll meet daily. So let's start with the chapter. Okay, so let us start with the chapter number 24, volume and surface area of solid. So in this chapter, for you all 8th standard students, we are studying how many shapes. So we are going to study the shape of cuboid, and the next one is cube, and the third one is cylinder. This chapter, volume and surface area, has many other shapes also beside this shape. It has the next one is cone. We also study sphere in this. We also study hemisphere in this. And there is one last one called as frustum. But this all shapes you are going to study in the higher level. So here in 8th standard, we are only going to study this three. First is the cuboid, second is the cube, and second is the cylinder. So let us go one by one. The first is we are going to study about cuboid. Now what is cuboid, students? Cuboid is nothing but we can say a rectangular box. A box which is rectangular from all the sides. So it's a rectangular box. Now, when you imagine a rectangular box, it is something like this. Just draw one rectangular box. Now, in a rectangular box, there are how many surfaces? There are in total 6 surfaces. 4 standing surfaces we have and 2 sleeping surfaces. The standing surface is called nothing but the lateral surface area. Okay, now here in this cuboid, how many dimensions do we have? We have in total, the first dimension is this one, which is called as the length of the cuboid. So second dimension that we have is this, which is called as the breadth. And the third dimension is the standing line, perpendicular line, which we call as the height. Okay, so in total, how many dimensions we have? We have length, we have breadth, and we have height for a cuboid. Now, let us understand the formula of this. Let us not by heart it. Let us understand it. Because I will advise you that in this chapter, if you understand the formula rather than just by hearting it, it will help you to solve the word problems where we have to apply each and every formula for each and every surface. For example, sometimes the word problem will be find the cost of painting only the 4 walls. Now 4 walls of room, if you look in your textbook, they have given it like, a separate section for the 4 walls, but we don't have a separate formula for it. It is nothing but the same thing. That is nothing but the lateral surface area, the standing surface area. So let us go for understanding the formula one by one. Now when we think about the lateral surface area, which I am writing here as LSA, that is nothing but the standing surface area. Okay, so let us go one by one. First, let us take the standing surface area, this surface. Okay, so if we focus on only this part, that is the standing surface, and if I draw it separately, so suppose if we focus on only this part, so we have to first see what are the dimensions that are included in this part. So this is L and the standing line is H. Okay, it is nothing but a piece of rectangle. Okay, one 2D surface of rectangle. Now, what is the formula for rectangle, students? Length into breadth. That is nothing but we multiply the 2 dimensions. And here the 2 dimensions are L into H. So what will be the formula for this LH? exactly opposite to it, the surface that we have, this one. This is exactly opposite to the first surface which we took separately. So that means if this is LH, the surface opposite to it will also be LH. Okay, so LH plus LH, we get 2LH, 2LH. So this is the area of only the two surface which we have highlighted here. Okay, now let's go for the other two standing surface. The other two standing surface here is this one. This height and the B, that is the width, that is the breadth. So if we draw it separately, it's something like this, right? Where the standing line is the height and the sleeping line here is the breadth. So that means when we take the formula for area of this, so the area to this surface is B into H. B into H, that is nothing but BH. So that means the area of this surface, which I am shading it here now, is BH. So the surface exactly opposite to it is also BH. So BH plus BH, we get 2BH. So here we are writing 2BH. So we got the LSA, lateral surface area, as 2LH plus 2BH, where we can take 2 as the common factor out. We can take H as the common factor out. What is left inside the bracket is L plus B. So this is nothing but the formula for the lateral surface area. It also becomes a formula for the four walls of a cuboidal room. So we get our first formula here, that lateral surface area is 2H in bracket L plus B. Okay, now let us go for the next formula, that is area of base. Area of base. Now you don't have any such separate formula for area of base in the textbook, but since we are breaking each surface and we are understanding each formula, hence after four surfaces we are focusing on the two sleeping surface, that is nothing but the base. Okay, now when we say it as base, base doesn't have height. That's the reason it's a base, right? So now when we focus on this base, so what are the two dimensions included in this two base? That is L and B. So when we multiply this, we get LB. So area of this base surface is LB. Now the surface exactly opposite to it is this. So area of the base is LB plus LB. This is the lower base and this is the upper surface. So LB plus LB, we get 2LB. So we get here 2LB. So we have divided the 6 surfaces of a cuboid into 4 standing surface and 2 sleeping surface. Now finally we will add all the surface and get the total surface area. So total surface area we can say it is 2LH and 2BH. This is a formula for the LSA plus 2LB. This is the formula for area of base. Now, when we take 2 common, we can write it as, let us write LB first. Let us write it in a sequence and then BH. And then LH, we can write it as HL. So we get a sequence LB. Here we end with B and the next one we start with B. BH, we end with H and the next one we start with H. HL, we end with L and the first one again start with L. So we followed a sequence here. So this is the formula for TSA. So the second formula that we are getting, or we can, if you want to divide the formula in area of base also, so we can write area of the bases is equal to LB plus LB to LB. Then the third formula comes TSA. TSA equals to 2 in bracket LB plus BH plus HL. Now the fourth one is the volume. Now volume is very easy. In volume we multiply all the 3 dimensions. Now the question here is, why do we multiply all the 3 dimensions? Now dear students, see, for volume there is one standard formula. Now what is a standard formula which you can apply in almost every shape except few. I will tell you in which shape we cannot apply this. And the standard formula is area of base into height. Okay. Now, in this shape, we can apply this formula. So area of base, only one base, okay? So the area of base of the cuboid is L into B, that is LB, into height. So hence we get volume as L into B into H. There are few shapes in which we cannot apply this formula. The time when we will do that shape, when we'll study that shape, I will tell you why we cannot apply this formula in that type of shape. For example, in cone, we can't use this formula. And in frustum, we can't use this formula. Otherwise, in cube, cuboid, and cylinder, we can use the formula as volume is equal to area of base into height. Always remember, this is a standard formula for volume. Volume is equals to area of base into height. So we get LB into H. Hence, we write the volume as LBH. Now, the last formula is the diagonal. Now, diagonal of cuboid, we use Pythagoras theorem here. But Pythagoras theorem, there are 3 dimensions included in a diagonal. So we write it as square root of L square plus B square plus H square. So these were the formulas of a cuboid, which you have to understand. When you understand, it becomes very easy to remember it forever. The chapter is very important. It is there in your 9th standard and also in your 10th standard. So you have to study it in such a way that you will be easily able to apply it for the next 2 more years. In the next lecture, we are going to do the formulas based on cube. So if you have understood this and if you have liked this, please do share with your friends. And if you have not yet subscribed my channel, kindly subscribe my channel, like it, share it, and keep learning. If you have any doubts, you can write it to me. I will get back to you. And happy learning. Thank you, students. Bye.